plains nor the depths could claim me.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Solarbacca coming to you guys today, another video, and today we are doing an item guide. So if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, comment down below what you need next, subscribe, and let's do this. So, runes. Ready? Number one rune choice. If you're learning Gangplank or you're struggling in the new season, take Fleet Footwork. This is going to be the setup you take. Fleet Footwork. Always go Presence of Mind. It is very useful, especially since Sheen is 1,000 gold. You need to stay in lane longer. There's no point in taking Triumph. Presence of Mind is better. Secondly, always take Alacrity. What does Alacrity do? It gives you attack speed to do double, triple passive resets. It allows you to time barrels easier. And it allows you to combo easier. Very, very good. Always take Alacrity 100%. And then Fleet, you always take in this tree as well. Third, Last Stand is good if you're going to go D-Blade start. Otherwise, go Cut Down. If you're going Longsword start and you're against any other champion in top lane, go Cut Down. Otherwise, if you go D-Blade, always go Last Stand. Always go Last Stand. Coup de Grace you can also take, but I genuinely think Last Stand is the better of the two. Again, Cut Down against tanks, or if you're going Longsword start. Secondary, you're against Rumble. Take Second Wind, Demolish. You're going to be playing to scale. If you're against any matchup that you feel that you're going to get poked, Second Wind, Demolish. If you feel like you're going to get all-in, let's say a Riven, right? You're scared of Riven, and you want to take this setup, go Bone Plating. For your runes, if you ever take Alacrity, never take the attack speed rune. You can take it. I think it's a waste. I think you should just go double adaptive. It'll allow you to CS a lot better at many breakpoints in the game. So always do that. Other setup that you can take with Fleet Footwork is Ignite. For the previous one, it was TP. If you're going Ignite, always take Cosmic Insight, and then you have the option to either take Triple Tonic, or you have the option to take Futures Market. If you have Ignite, it's important that you have Cosmic because it makes Ignite come up about a minute earlier. It goes from 4 minutes, I think, to 3 minutes. So always take Cosmic Insight. Futures Market is very, very powerful since Sheen is more expensive. Typically, you're going to get your recall off at like 850 gold. So it really helps you to get that 1,000 gold Sheen. Otherwise, I would say go Biscuits if you feel like you need to battle it out in lane. And if you really, really, really want to be like luxury, then I guess what you could do is you could do this and this, Triple Tonic, and you could take Cosmic Insight if you're playing for like level 9. But in my opinion, the best setup is Cosmic Insight Futures or Cosmic Insight and Biscuit if you're taking Ignite. If you're taking TP and you want to go Inspiration Tree, then you always go Triple Tonic and then Futures or Cosmic. But I think Futures Market along with Triple Tonic is very strong. Getting your barrels earlier is really nice. And I think because you get a skill point, you can also... well, let me not say that because I'm not sure about the barrels at one-shotting minions at level 8. But what I do know for a fact is that this allows you to get 4 barrels at level 9, which is huge. Secondary runes you go. There's only 2 rune pages you're going. It's either Fleet or you're going First Strike. Grasp is dead, in my opinion. And I don't think any of these other runes are worth taking. So Fleet Footwork gives you a bunch of sustain, very strong into your brawly matchups, and very good against safe matchups. If you think you can win lane because you're that much of a Giga Chad, this is where you're going to go. You're going to go First Strike. You're going to go Triple Tonic always, 100% of the time. And then you're going to go Futures and Cosmic. Now, you might be saying, well, Solar, what about Magical Footwear if I'm against a free lane? If you're against a free lane, I genuinely think that power spike that you get from level 9 with having 4 barrels or just having like more points into barrels to get more damage off and the cooldown lower is really valuable. But if you don't think that's as valuable and you say, no, you're stupid, then go Magical Footwear. Secondary, if you're into a ranged matchup that you feel it's hard to play, then I recommend you take Treasure Hunter and Taste of Blood. And then you take an attack speed rune. You always want attack speed as Gangplank in your runes somewhere. Either from Alacrity, from the Precision Tree, or in your runes with attack speed. You always want attack speed as GP. Don't ever not take attack speed on GP. Alright? So you're against your range matchups top lane and you want to scale, take this. Let's say you're against a matchup that you hard stomp and that you win really hard. Let's say you're against the Yone. Against Yone, you're probably not going to want Alacrity because you can't really take a good secondary rune. It doesn't really help you here. None of these really help you. However, you can go Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm, which is really good into Yone and helps you to scale. If you're against a very squishy team composition and you win top lane, let's say you're against Fiora top lane and you're against a bunch of like other squishy champions on the enemy team, then this is also a very, very, very good setup for you. Otherwise, the last setup that I will show you if you're against the tank, but you know you win, like Cassante, right? Is you can take Alacrity and you can take Cut Down and double adaptive because you have attack speed in the Alacrity tree. Like I said, you want attack speed somewhere, but you don't want to overdo it. So Alacrity, Cut Down, very good. There is one more setup, and this is what I take into matchups like Riven and what you can take into matchups that you feel like you need it, right? Like Jax. You can go Bone Plating and combine it with Overgrowth. Bone Plating Overgrowth is a really good combo. It gives you the health to survive these burst combos against Jax, against Riven, even against Fiora if you really want to. And it gives you access to getting First Strike without losing your lane. So First Strike has about 4 different variations with the runes as I went through. And Fleet Footwork also has its own variations. So now we're going to move on to items. So your starting items are always going to be either D-Ring, D-Blade, D-Shield, or Longsword and Refillable. These are going to be all of the starts that you have for Gangplank. And what you're going to want to do is for D-Blade and D-Shield, right? The way you measure it is, am I fighting a lot in my lane? If the answer is yes, you go D-Blade. If you fight a lot and you win, you go D-Blade. If you're against that Rumble, if you're against that range top Akshan, and you feel like you're going to struggle, go D-Shield, all right? So pretty much, I win the lane, aggressiveness, I'm fighting, go D-Blade. I struggle to win the lane, I'm not sure, I'm very scared, D-Shield. Giga Chad, I know I win this lane easily, I'm going to whoop this guy's ass, go Longsword and Refillable. The reason is, when you get your Essence Reaver, instead of putting 450 gold towards an item that doesn't build into Essence Reaver, you straight up are building right into your item, your core item, which is good. So those are your options for starting items. Next, we're going to go into the... So the first build that we're going to go is the good old reliable Essence Reaver crit build. It's the same as last season. You go Essence Reaver, you always go Navori. You cannot build Navori and Infinity Edge anymore. That was something you could do in the PvE, and it got disabled very quickly. So don't trick yourself into thinking you could buy Navori and Infinity Edge. You cannot build those items anymore. So you're going to go Essence, you're going to go Navori. You can go Collector, but recently I've been advocating a lot more for LDR or Mortal Reminder. Either way, if you need the LDR Mortal Reminder because you're against tanks, then build that as a third item. Otherwise, just get Collector, then build into your LDR. Then you have the nice little options like BT and such. You have I think that's about it for crit items actually. Yeah, that's about it for crit items. Phantom Dancer is fine, but yeah. That's the core build that you'll be going in a lot of your games. What you can also do, however, is instead of getting Collector, right, you can go LDR and then you can go Youmuu's. That's also an option. However, I do think the strongest build is you go Essence, you go Navori, you go Collector, you go LDR, and then you can get like your last item BT, and then you could go Youmuu's. If you're against a very squishy team composition, then don't go LDR. If you're against a very squishy team comp, go Essence Reaver, Navori, Collector, and then Youmuu's. Youmuu's is a very good item for catching up to fights, to getting barrels in fights, along with the attack speed. Movement speed and attack speed are the best stats on Gangplank in the whole game. Attack speed, movement speed, they do everything that GP wants to do. So Collector, Youmuu's if you're against squishy team comp. Otherwise, if you're against a tankier comp, then you can go LDR and you can go Youmuu's/Collector afterwards, along with the BT last. Or Shield Bow if you need it. If you're against like a bunch of assassins and you want to build Shield Bow, you can. Variations are if you want to go Death Stance as well. If you're against the no, just that for crit. Pretty much that's it for crit. I don't think you should really get Death Stance. However, there is one other item that I will say is very useful. Frozen Heart. Now, Frozen Heart is probably one of the best items in the entire game right now. For those of you who are unaware, Frozen Heart recently got nerfed from 90 armor to 70 armor. Armor in League of Legends, the way that it works is the more you have, the less valuable it is. So 70 armor still gives you a lot of value, whereas 90 armor, you get diminishing returns, right? you still get the passive where you reduce attack speed by 20% and you reduce incoming damage. So if you wanted to get the 2300 gold item super cheap, if you wanted to get that, like say after LDR or after Collector or even after Navori, those are all great options. You can just get it, sit on a cloak with 55% crit chance after Navori, and then just go straight into your Frozen Heart. And that's very, very, very good. So we're gonna say that this is like kind of the core build, and then there's situational items. I would say what you see on the bottom here are all situational items. Now let's go over the Trinity builds. So the Trinity builds are a little bit of a headache because there's so many variations, but let me tell you what I believe to be good every game that you guys can do. So Trinity Force is a very good item. We're back to old GP in the sense of this is going to be your bruiser build. Trinity is just very solid overall. Shojin is very good because it gives you a bunch of haste. It gives you 35 haste because it gives you 15 haste on your abilities, and then you get 20 haste from the item. It's either 32 or 35 haste in total. And your spells hit, meaning your Q and your E and your ult, all give stacks, right? That give you up to 12% increased damage. Now, the way it works is that you get 3% per spell hit. So how does this work with Gangplank, you might be saying? Pretty much, when you press R as Gangplank, there's an interaction with Shojin, where you will instantly get all 4 stacks of Shojin's increased damage. So pretty much, if you ult as Gangplank, you instantly get 12% increased damage. Right away, you get 12% increased damage. Now, this is where things get crazy. So we're actually going to make a separate column for this. This is where things get very, 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 very crazy. Oh boy. All right. This is where things get crazy. So Bruiser core and then after core. This is where things get crazy. It is up to you guys to figure out what item you need at a certain point in the game. So, Trinity, Shojin, it's good. Now, this is where it gets crazy. If you're against an AD top and AD jungle, I suggest you go Frozen Heart as a third item. Very OP, cost efficient, gives you haste, very cheap. Don't think you're wasting gold. You're not. 2300 gold is nothing. That is air for Gangplank. 2300 is nothing. Very broken item. Let's say you're not against the heavy AD comp. What do you go? Let's say you're against a team comp where you're super far ahead and you want to continue snowballing. The item that I would recommend if you want to continue snowballing after Shojin there's a few items. So let's say you're against a melee heavy team composition, right? Let's say you're against Diana. You're against Yasuo, and you're saying, Solar, I don't care about this pussy shit Frozen Heart. You suck dick, you're washed up. Show me what to build. Alright, Liandry's. And let me tell you why. Liandry's also gives you more damage as you're in combat longer. You don't have to land spells. So, you want to know something crazy? So, GP's ult at level 11 typically does about 800 damage with Fire at Will. 850 damage. With Shojin, and with increased damage from Liandry's, your barrels will do 18% more damage. Your ult will do 18% more damage, and also burn the opponent for their health, for their maximum health. That's really disgusting. So your ult goes from about 800 damage to potentially 1250 to 300. That's disgusting damage. You also get health in the form of 300 health in stats and 90 AP, which your oranges have a 90% AP ratio, as far as I'm aware. A 90% AP ratio, meaning that you get about 75 more health per orange. Very, very, very powerful. So if you're going to go Trinity, go Shojin. If you're against Heavy AD, go Frozen Heart. If you're not against Heavy AD, then you can go Liandry's. And now, what else do you need? So here's a potential option. If you're against that heavy melee team composition, what you could do is also going Sterax. You can go Sterax. Very solid item, gives you more split pushing power, 20% tenacity, very strong. If you're against an AP heavy team composition, you can go this item as well. You might be saying, Solar, what is this item? It's Canic Recurn. Read it. 400 health, 80 magic resistance, and after not taking magic damage for 12 seconds, you gain a magic shield. You essentially get Morgana Black Shield or Galio, sorry, not Morgana Black Shield, you get Galio passive. Now, you might be saying, well, how much does that look like after 2 items? After 2 items, this should give you anywhere from a 650 to an 850 health shield. After only 2 items. And it scales with health. So let's do the math on that. You get 80 magic resistance, you get 400 base health, and you get minimum 600 health. So you get 1000 effective health because of this item. Very broken against that Rumble. Very broken against that Hoei. I know he's common right now. Any burst mage in the game, Syndra, whatever it is, this is a very good item. So Trinity, Shojin, situational items. You've got your potential 3rd items, and then you have your potential 4th items. Now, there is another item that you might say, that's fucking weird, and you're right. It's Riftmaker. Look at Riftmaker. You get 10% increased damage after being in combat for 6 seconds. And you might say, well, being in combat for 6 seconds, so you're in combat normally after attacking an opponent for about 3 to 4 seconds. However, with Liandry's, it's constantly refreshing the tick. Meaning that with 1 Gangplank Q or 1 auto attack, the Riftmaker gets fully stacked up. So you get more AP, health, ability haste, you get 10% Omnivamp and 10% increased damage. So now you're doing 10, 22, 28% increased damage on your ult that burns them for their max health. Your oranges will heal more, your barrels will heal more, and you just get a lot of damage. Now you might be saying, well, Solar, I don't care about Riftmaker. What is this ultimate bravery build? That's fine. A substitution for this item is Titanic Hydra. Very, very broken, very, very strong. It's broken on pretty much every character in the game. And there's an interaction where with Titanic Hydra, if you activate Titanic Hydra, you can Q a barrel and that amplified damage will proc on your barrel. Meaning that your barrel will go from 600 damage to potentially 750, 800 damage. Maybe more. It's very, very, very powerful, and a lot of bruisers, Gangplank is included in that. So, we've got Trinity, we've got Shojin, we've got whatever you want, the world is your oyster. There's a lot of build variation this season, and it makes it very strong. So these are the builds that I'm focusing in right now. The second I get an AP build, you know what? I'll craft an AP build right now for you guys. Ready? This is an AP build that I would go. If you're saying, Solarbacca, I want to try full AP Gangplank, here's what I go. Lichbane, self-explanatory, you need the Sheen proc. Malignance, you get 40 ultimate haste. It gives you 20 on the passive, 20 on the item. It gives you a burning damage underneath. Self-explanatory. Then I'd go Liandry's every single time. After Liandry's, I'd either go Horizon Focus. Then after Horizon Focus, you have enough AP that you could probably make good use of Storm Surge. Or if you say, I don't want Storm Surge, you could also go Rabadon's Death Cap. You could go Death Cap. You could also go Riftmaker. It's also a pretty good item here. For the same reasons as here. If you're going to go Essence Reaver instead of Lichbane, you can also get a Shojin. So if you're going to go AP and you say, well, I want a better item, you can go Essence Reaver, and then you can go Shojin. And then after Shojin, you can go Liandry's and then build more AP items, such as the Horizon Focus, such as the Death Cap. This is going to be your good hybrid build if you want that. Otherwise, this is your full AP build. So we'll put hybrid build or AP build. So this is what your build's going to look like on Gangplank. And then there's also Shadow Flame, which crits on the Liandry's. So you have a lot of options here. There's a Death Cap in here as well. I don't recommend getting a Death Cap for damage. Because the way that Death Cap works is it's only good if you're going to go Storm Surge, really. Because Death Cap doesn't have really good scalings with Gangplank, with AP Gangplank. It's only good for your oranges and for your barrels. But if you're playing for just your ult, I would suggest you go Lichbane, Malignant, Liandry's, Horizon Focus into probably a Shadow Flame. I'd probably go Shadow Flame. And then I'd go Riftmaker. That's what I think I would go. If I was going hybrid, I'd go Essence Shojin, Liandry's, and then I'd probably go Horizon, and then I'd probably go Shadow Flame. Maybe I'd actually go Storm Surge if I build a Collector. There's so many variations. There's so much build variety. But yeah, for Season 14, these are the builds that we are cooking with. So, will this change in the future? Yes. Will it change by much? No. Yes. Who knows? But for those of you wondering, this is my build and this is my explanation for Season 14 Gangplank. This is my explanation for Season 14 Gangplank and how to have success. We went over runes, we went over item builds, and the last thing I can add here is boots. Boots options, you're going to go Swifties if you have attack speed in your runes, and also if the enemy team has ranged characters. If they have ranged characters, then you go Swifties because you need the movement speed. If they have a lot of melee characters, you can go Berserker Greaves just to beat the crap out of them. If you feel like you need it, you can go Tabbies. Sorry, what is this? What is it called? Plated Steel Caps. You can go Plated Steel Caps if you're against the heavy armored team and you want to combine that with Frozen Heart. Hullbreaker is not a good item, unfortunately, because Riot Games kind of just like nerfed it, which is, you know, well deserved. I don't think it's worth it at all. I don't think it's worth it at all. I think you're better off just building these other items. Gangplank doesn't have a problem with split pushing where he needs Hullbreaker, and the amplification is not worth it. So for Season 14, this is going to be what you're going. Sunder at Sky, you guys might be saying, what about this? It does not proc on your Q, making it a terrible item. This is an item that heals you. It essentially gives you like Stormrazor crit, like a Stormrazor mini crit from the old seasons along with a heal. The problem is that it doesn't proc on your Q, meaning you have to get melee range of everyone, which is not ideal as Gangplank. So here's your crit build, here's your starting items, here's your Bruiser core, and then here's your after core items. There's more options here. There's GA, there's Zonias if you really want it, but I suggest sticking to this as your guidelines, along with these AP items. So on that note, hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been your Season 14 item guide. Please like the video now, because, hey, you're going to collect a lot of wins if you follow these builds and the runes that I showed you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.